This is the Fearless Audio LANCELOT. They're fucking epic. The only reason that they didn't get the attention at the beginning is because they happened at the same time as the Roland, and that's unfortunate. You guys want to learn about history? Let me tell you something, because I just learned it. Because it's applicable. Sometimes two things happen at the same time and one overshadows the other, and why that happens is sometimes clear and sometimes a little less so. The Great Fire of Chicago, the Great Chicago Fire, is something that a lot of people learn in school. And some woman's cow supposedly kicked over land and it burned 30 square blocks of Chicago. On the same day, a couple hundred miles away, I think, a logging town, 3 times as many, I think like 1,200 people died. I think in Chicago fire it was like 240, 300 people. In the other fire on the same day, a couple hundred miles south, 1,200 plus people or more, because entire families disappeared that they couldn't actually count the dead. That's how many people died that day. But you don't know about it because the Chicago fire. You can go check deadliest fires in U.S. history, and it'll be in Wikipedia. I have no idea what the name is. I saw it when they were talking about it because there's something called the History Guy, and he talks about stuff that people should remember. So that's 2 events that happened. One is much bigger than the other, but most people remember one or the other. Let's take a look at something else. And if you're like, dude, fucking, come on, the review. Give me a second here. Plus you can hear Bob Marley in the background. It's not like you suffer, man. Prince. Prince died. Prince is an icon, and somebody else who's famous, and I can't remember who it is, died on the same day. They were famous. There's a difference between being famous and being an icon. When he passed away and the other person passed away, and I can't remember who that was, most people, unless you're like a fan club member of the other person, you were focused on this because there were springing up random concerts and tributes all around America and the world for this guy. And the other person that passed away, he's a footnote. He's the person that passed away on the same day as Prince. The 1,200 people that died in the fire are trivial pursuit questions of, what happened on the same day as the Great Chicago Fire. Well, a bigger fire that killed 3 times as many people, that's what the fuck happened, but you don't know about it. So I'm 2 minutes, 51 seconds in. This happened on the same time as the Roland happened. The Roland is that damn good. This would have been number 1 if the Roland hadn't arrived. Let's take a second to look at what is actually a very nice graph. Dark set, as you know, is something that has elevated bass relative to the rest of the spectrum. If it's done with good transducers, drivers, it will actually probably be a very nice, relaxing, enjoyable, long listen playback. There's nothing wrong with the dark set. As long as it's not hazy, veiled, it can be a really enjoyable thing. And it would be something that would be kind of tilted that way. A bright set would be something that would be tilted the opposite way, where the treble would be emphasized to the detriment of everything that precedes it, which would be the mids and the bass. It would be a treble dominant set. Some of Fearless are seeming to be like that because of the Harman type hill. This is what would be considered a fairly balanced set, literally and audibly to the ears. The bass, the mids, the treble, none of them are standing out in amplitude too much more than, those are 5 dB blocks right there. It graphs relative. That treble is brilliant right there. That is done really good, and it's being done by EST drivers. It's really good. I'm convinced that they can chop a little bit off of that Harman hill because the benefit of the EST drivers compensates for dropping that down a little bit, because this sounds brilliant on everything. So you would have heard about this 2 weeks ago, except it came on the same day as the Roland, and they were listened to initially at the same time, and the Roland just jumped out at me as a whole new thing. The Roland is icon, and this is famous, like, to me, in my mind. Let's go ahead and check out some music. So there you learn the Great Chicago Fire. On the same day, a fire happened, not even that far away. It killed so many people that 1,200 is the minimum. It could be much more because entire families and the people that could account for them were just gone. History, people, What the fuck's that got to do with music? Music history is cool. Tupac. The bass on this set, you see the little bump right there, something that you would maybe see on an Anole or something like this. I'm convinced that that is what is called a compensation curve by the creators to make the balanced armature bass sound more like a dynamic by giving it a little bit of pre-tuning emphasis. Like they're making its presence known because people expect to have a nice kick drum or to hear the pull on the guitars, the bass guitar. I don't see a lot of flat BAs. The Eddie Modics are flat, but that's actually a micro driver. That's not balanced armature, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. But BAs generally got a little bit of assistance by the people that tune them because they want to give you the illusion that you're listening to a traditional set, which would be dynamic drivers up until just a few years ago. So it grabs out really nice. The bass on Tupac sounds actually quite good. I could up it. It just doesn't sound as good as the Roland, but no BA set does. So there's that. This just rocks. This, like I said, would be my favorite set were it not for the Roland. Vocals sound awesome. They're not on my lap. They're not recessed. This is a tough test right here. Again, I'm piano, hi-hat, Steven Tyler, cymbal strike, just came in right there. Also, he's tapping. Dun, 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 dun. In best situation, this is recorded slightly back anyway, the piano, which makes it harder to catch. This sounds, this is on the par with something like the Anole BX. If I'd said that like a year ago about a Chi-Fi thing, I think I would have maybe hesitated, but not anymore. Fearless has there's like a 50% hit rate. Didn't like the S12 Hyper S. Didn't like the S10. Didn't like the S4. Didn't like the Start. Did like the. It's like a 50% hit and not. So Lahire, I think, is not that much of a difference from the S8F in quality. So I consider that to be a side grade. I'll do a review for that, but I'm in no hurry for that. This is an exceptional set if you're into BA only. I don't know why you would be into BA only, but if you were into BA only, this would be something you really should probably check out. It doesn't seem to have a clear weakness. Band on the Run by Wings. There's like 3 parts to this song where they totally change the tempo and rhythm. This is part 1. This is Paul McCartney after he left the Beatles. Wings. This is really good stuff. This is Wings' greatest. I remember doing construction in Hawaii for a little while before I went back to school, and they had a rock station and they always played like 3 songs from every group, and Wings was like regular on that. I think all 3 of that songs are on this album right here. Sounds brilliant on this set. Marshall Tucker Band. I don't know how many members are in the Marshall Tucker Band, but it sounds like it can be anything from 4 to like 10. Like a bunch of people get up and jam and they record it. It can be kind of chaotic and complex. Yeah, the Marshall Tucker Band. It sounds really good on this set. Very, very nice. There is not... These are the hardest things to judge because you've got to consciously look for something to say. It's not good at this. On my playlist, unfortunately, there's really nothing that I can say that about. The only thing I could say is that if you require a dynamic kick, then you wouldn't be getting it from a BA set, obviously. And the Roland is cheaper than this. I just thought that as I just came out as I said it. So you've got an option to get what you want, and it's cheaper than this. So this is something that happened at the same time as something that really special. And they priced the Roland cheaper, so I don't know that they got it. I don't know. This is the flagship. but I don't think it is. Though it sounds fantastic. It's just not the same as the Roland. I hate to keep bringing the Roland in, but it's from the same company. It's within a couple $100, and they're both like $1,000 plus. So your money. Which one would I wreck? The Roland or this? The Roland. The Roland. The three. The tri-brid with the dynamic driver doing what it does best. Bass, BA's doing what it does best, or good mids, and then the EST was what it does best and is supposed to do is the treble. The interweaving of those three technologies in such a excellent fashion in the Roland is the automatic wreck. This is just an unfortunate timing. It's an excellent set. It's number 2 on my ranking, but it's not the same as the Roland. So everything you can see on my playlist sounds fantastic. I love it. It's a great set. I do wreck it, but I wreck it that I got to wreck it because it's fantastic and it's really good, but do I wreck it over the Roland? No. And the Roland's cheaper, so giving it a wreck is even kind of weird, but it is in technical aspects superior to the other stuff on my list, so it's got to go there. So I would wreck it. You save your money and get the Roland. But if you look at the Roland, you think, you know, that treble thing, you better listen to it and hear more reviews come back, because it's fucking amazing. It's really, really good. This will give you the typical top-of-the-line BA type playback. It graphs in that sense. It's using high-quality drivers. It sounds like that. So this would be your typical 2 months ago top-of-the-line. You don't need to pay $3,000. You can pay, I don't know, $1,200 or whatever this is for this and get the same thing. Problem is that now they got the tri-brids, and those are just a whole new breed. And this company happens to make one that's cheaper than their flagship. And that new breed is going to be taking over the world over the next probably 12 months as they nail that down. So this is the Fearless LANCELOT. I think it's really, really good. It's the number 1 that was never number 1, but could have been, but timing. And I'd wreck the Roland over this. But I really think this is a nice set. And you know, do graphs tell the story? No, but they help, and that should help you right there. That is a nice. Can you hear that in the background? Can't you see? Oh, can't you see? You know what I did last night? After I did my video, I was listening to Jim Croce, and then I went and I watched a bunch of people do covers of Time in a Bottle and another track, and so I spent like an hour and a half watching new people cover Jim Croce. Something when you dive in. Remember the video I did last night? The last image was Jim Croce's album cover. And then as soon as I got off that, I was like, I want to listen to that song. And then, who's done covers? Not a lot of people. Some people have done brilliant shit. Jim Croce was fucking epic. He sounds good on this. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you guys. 13 minutes. I'm out. Fantastic set. I wreck it on its ability and its technicality, and I hate saying that shit, but it literally is better than everything else I got in my case except one, and that is the cheaper one from the same company, the Roland. And I'm out. Ripping shows live on stage for hoes yelling my name. To be precise, ripping my